Hi guys, this is Erica from Gokce Capital.
Now before I begin, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications. In 1887, Lizzie Chrisman filed a homestead claim for the property on which her and her sisters had started their homestead. This homestead was little more than a one-room house, built of sawed bricks made of packed earth and grass, with a largely lightless and smoky interior. The floors would have been continuously dirty, as the wind and mud from the home's walls would have made it a nearly impossible task to keep the floor bare of mud. Smoke from the fire, fueled by buffalo chips, would have been continuously present, making the interior somewhat oppressive through the long winter days. Insects and mice would have burrowed into the walls and shared the warmth of the home through the winter, and rattlesnakes from the Nebraska prairie would have been a constant presence as well. The sisters would likely have slept with a hoe by their bedsides to kill any wayward snake that may slither around in the night. Without children on the homestead, they would have had to gather water from the stream several miles away daily, milk the cows and churn the butter, watch over the fire constantly, and put in the backbreaking work of breaking up the tough Nebraska soil. Such was the life of a frontier family in the American plains. It was one of isolation, hard labor, and little comfort, but it is also a lifestyle that more and more people are looking to emulate in this day and age. Lots of families want to live an off-grid, self-sufficient lifestyle themselves, and it is certainly possible to do so without the same level of material sacrifice, but it is hard work and there is a lot to know. So in this video, I'm going to go over the top 7 things you should consider before living off-grid. And if you'd like to know where you can find photos of Lizzie Chrisman, I'll let you know at the end of this video. Number 1. Before buying a parcel of land or setting up your off-grid living situation, first verify that you are allowed to live off-grid. Many American cities, states, and counties have deemed it unlawful for you to entirely remove yourself from the grid. Number 2. Find a water source. While the pioneers would have used a stream, often hauling water by hand for miles each day, you will likely want a more practical solution for your water needs. The majority of off-grid families use a well, but if this is not an option, you could consider harvesting rainwater. In less arid climates, this is also a great secondary source for irrigation water. Alternatively, if you have a stream that is relatively nearby, you can use alternative power like solar to pump fresh water up to your home. And if you are near salt water, you could consider solar-powered desalination. But regardless of your choice, make sure that you properly test and filter your water to keep you and your family safe. Number 3, you'll need to turn into a combination hunter-gatherer and farmer. If you want to be completely off-grid, this means relying on your own labor to supply your family's food needs. Gardening and agriculture is going to be key to this, but you'll also want to pick up skills like hunting and fishing so that you have enough meat and vegetables to last throughout the year. But being a farmer or hunter-gatherer doesn't just mean learning how to grow, find, or trap food. It also means protecting your food sources from native wildlife. You'll want to learn not only how to hunt, but also how to protect your livestock and your house from predators, as well as your crops from rabbits, deer, or other native herbivores. Number 4, don't forget about power. Fortunately, off-grid solar has become a much more affordable and easy option, especially if you have a small house and do not plan to use much power. Alternative solutions may include a micro hydropower station if you have water nearby. You can check the U.S. Geological Survey to see the average flow of the stream near your house. You'll also want to contact your state's energy office to verify how much water you're allowed to divert to your power station, as well as whether you need a permit. Another alternative power source that is growing in popularity is wind power. And you'll typically need an average minimum annual wind speed of 9 miles per hour in order to make wind power work. You can look into the resources available at the Department of Wind Resources website to check the average minimum annual wind speed in your area. Keep in mind that you'll also need a turbine rated for 5 to 15 kilowatts. And finally, many off-grid families use biogas to at least supply their cooking gas, but sometimes biogas can be used to power a biogas fuel generator. You'll just need to build or buy a digester to convert your organic waste into biogas. Number 5, you'll have to figure out how to handle waste. In pioneer days, families would have a simple outhouse, but today most jurisdictions will not allow this. There are a few counties that may allow a composting toilet but generally you should expect to install a septic system. So before purchasing a parcel of land, make sure you complete a perk test to ensure that there is a spot on your property that can support a septic system, and follow all county, state, or municipal requirements. Number 6, have a plan for how to handle mail, cell service, and the internet. One of the biggest challenges of pioneer life was not the hard work and the deprivations, but rather the intense isolation. Today, we are much more connected. Even if you're living off-grid miles away from other families, you can use the internet to build a community and stay connected. Thus, it has increasingly become an absolute necessity rather than a nice-to-have. Of these 3 items, mail is the easiest to deal with. You can simply open a P.O. box in the nearest town. But cell service and internet are going to be a little more tricky. If you're lucky, you may have some cell service at your property. And even if you only get a bar, you can purchase a signal or cell booster. Once you have reliable cell service, you can then use your phone as an internet hotspot. But if this is not an option, you may want to look into satellite internet. While this is more likely to be available than cell service, it also is going to be a slower internet connection. But a final alternative is a ham radio. You'll need a license in order to set up your own ham radio system, but in the absence of cell service, it will at least allow you to be in contact with the outside world, and it often has a strong enough signal to at least allow you to send emails. And number 7, check if you are in a fire district. As we've seen in the news, wildfires are a big concern for anyone living off-grid. And you'll want to make sure that you are within some jurisdiction's fire district so that you have help in the event of a fire. Before purchasing a property, take a look at the FEMA Fire District Registry and make sure that you are covered. But this is just a start. Living off-grid is a big change. It requires a lot of hard work and a lot of research. And it is not something you should undertake on a whim. So continue to do your due diligence and learn the skills you will need to be successful in your off-grid adventure. And if you're intrigued by the story of Lizzie Chrisman, you can see a picture of her and her sisters in the Solomon Butcher collection. In fact, I encourage you to research Solomon Butcher. He's one of the famous frontier photographers, and his photos offer a wonderful glimpse into what frontier life in Nebraska looked like. Now, do you have any stories about off-grid living? Let us know in the comments. Did you like this video? You're going to love our Gokce Land Due Diligence program. We'll make you a land due diligence expert in just 7 days. Check it out at gokcecapital.com/glad. And while you're at our website, don't forget to explore our $1 down properties at gokcecapital.com/listings. Finally, don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. You can email, call, or text, and we will respond as soon as possible. So thank you for listening, and more to come.